framework. If not, so today's session will be talking about Robot Framework functionalities, what other plugins are available for Robot Framework, and we'll give you some code examples on the editor that is right that comes with Robot Framework uh, that makes your test writing simple enough for any starter. And then in the next sessions, we'll be talking about the frameworks uh, with Robot Framework uh, uh, as well as CI/CD pipelines that go along with Robot.
Hey Sumit, this is Diva here. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Yeah, I sent a message, the screenshot which I am receiving. When I am entering the keywords like open browser, close browser, all those keywords, it's underlined with the red color mark and saying that the keyword definition is not found. Is there any specific?
That means your library is not imported, and the editor is not able to find those particular functions that comes with the library. So
So this library belongs to Selenium, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So what is the library I will have to insert for the Selenium? It's pip install.
Yeah, it's if you go up in the chat, I copy pasted that command, so you can go
Okay.
take a look.
Okay.
I'll do it again. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm doing it again.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks.
Yep, this one.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions? If not, then I'll hand it to Arjit. He will start with write and talk about different functionalities that Robot Framework has to offer. So keep in mind, Robot Framework is not only for test automation. You can do a lot more other automations depending on your use case. Some of the people are using Robot Framework for RPA purpose as well. So learning this will definitely widen your scope uh, and increase your automation use cases in your organization. So if you think about someone is doing manual work, you can help them like support. Let's say support is filtering out tickets based on certain criterias and sending a notification to certain group of people. You can automate that process using Robot Framework. That's one use case. Uh, where support can really gain by this. The other use cases are, let's say one of your server is down in AWS and you need to restart that server. So someone has to manually go in and restart that server. You can also automate that using Robot Framework. Right. So there are the use cases are basically when you look into your organization and see that someone is doing some manual work. There's one use case where my organization implemented Robot Framework RPA was when they had to do DB user name password resets, right? So they were doing it manually, and all the DBAs were doing it manually. But then Robot Framework made it easier for them to plug in the ETL database and give those credentials, those are admin credentials, and then reset that password automatically for them. So the users were able to reset their passwords by themselves without getting DBA involved. So that was a really good use case. Now we have changed that because there are more tools available in the market now. So we have a Slack plugin called Chewbacca that does that automatically for you. But there can be multiple use cases where you want to implement not just in test automation, but in general automation as well. So with this, I will hand it over to Arjit to take it forward. Arjit? If you're talking, you're on mute, Arjit.
Hello.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, is my screen visible?
No.
No. Share my desktop. Now?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see pie chart?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this was a robot file that we had last week. Um, so essentially, we have executed the robot file, and we have seen the browser opens and it enters the username and password, and then it closes. Check. Okay, so adding to this robot file, what we have is um, we have some resource file today. Okay, so this resource file is what that contains the entire environments and some keywords for our robot file. So earlier, what we did was we had the variables in our robot file. But now what we can do is we can remove the variables and keep it as a global variable for all the robot files to be used. So like if I need the variable server in all the robot files here, I can keep the robot this variable as a global variable, and then I can use it for all. So that's why what we have done is we've created a robot file where we're keeping all the global variables, and then we are importing the library, the Selenium library, in the robot file itself. So in turn, what we need to do is if we are creating a robot file for when in which we keep our test cases only, we don't need to separately import all every time the Selenium library. So because it's already there once, we can just use the resource file, and we can just import the resource file instead of either the libraries that we are importing. So like if we have multiple libraries that we need to import for our test cases, we can just do it once, and we don't need to do it for all the robot files one by one, and it will have five import libraries. So instead we just import the robot file. So this robot file comes with the variables. So what we have done is we have removed the variables from here, from our test robot file, and we have kept them in the resource file as global variables. Okay, so this section, after the settings, this section defines the variables. The next section comes to keywords. The keywords are the what to say, the library or the specific term that we make, or the definition name, the method name in Python that we mention in order to perform a similar task. A certain task needs to be done, and we give the name of that definition. So what we can write is, instead of opening the browser and doing a certain group of things inside the after opening the browser, we don't need to write the browser opening and input text here. So what we have is we have written a keyword which deals with opening the browser and then maximizing the browser window, setting the Selenium execution speed, and then logging. and checking the login page is open or not. So we are performing four different tasks in one method or one keyword. So when we mention this keyword in our robot file, it will do all these four tasks. Instead, we just need to write just one line which corresponds to all these tasks that are being done for this keyword. So this is actually the use of a keyword. So maybe what we do is we can term this as a Gherkin language that we do maybe in the BDD, that we just write a simple English sentence behind the scenario, the code runs. So similar to that is this, like we write a keyword and which does a set of tasks, and those tasks are being mentioned in the resource file. So we can mention any number of keywords, and essentially what we do is we hide the complexity behind the scenario. So we keep the complexity behind, and so we can only keep the details here. So someone who is writing a test case need not know the entire details or the specific keywords required. So someone who is not from a coding background can just write the keywords here, that needs to know what are the steps to be done for a test case, and then a coder or a automation developer can write the corresponding keywords and mention the steps for those keywords. Okay, so what we are seeing here is we are seeing a robot file, and this robot file is actually space separated. So what do I mean that is, these are space or tab separated. So in order to create a robot file, which is like, to make it look like a tabular format, we are actually doing it manually. We are actually creating the space or the tab separated file. To solve this issue, we have another IDE. So that IDE is called ride. So as we've seen here, the editors. So ride is one of the IDEs that robot framework provides. So this is a standalone robot framework editor. So what this editor does is it gives us a tabular format along with what we are seeing here. So we see a space separate file here, and this is a ride screen. So this is the valid login. Okay, and resource file. Okay. So this is a resource file, and we can see the same thing what we are seeing on the PyCharm screen, a space separated file. The best part of ride is we can click on the edit button and it will give us a details of the tabular format. So this in turn helps us to remove the space separate complexity. So if we need to write anything, we can just write the data here instead of thinking about the space separate complexity part. And you can see on the text edit it has been mentioned. Okay, I'll come to the installation first. Okay, so in order to install ride, the basic thing is we need to install a pip install robot framework ride. And once we do a robot framework ride, install pip install robot framework ride on the terminal. So what we do is pip install robot framework ride. So this is the command that we get. Once we do this, we will get the write GUI or the write py file in the libraries folder of our Python installation. So once we get that, what we can do is we can just start the write GUI on the from the terminal. So this is how we start. We just write.py and hit the enter. The write GUI will come up. Okay. Okay. Now once we have installed the write, we can just import any project folder. Though I'm using the one that I showed the earlier week, the sample the sample framework that robot framework has provided. So we can open the directory here. It will show this. So it you can open the directory, choose the folder, and it will come here. Okay. See. So this gives a this is settings part. Okay. So this part gives us um, the tabular data. Once we write the tabular data here, we can import this in our resource files. So this is how we import the resource file. We can go to import and we can choose the resource file name, and the resource file gets imported. This is a valid login page now. The valid login page says that it will open the browser, it will input the username, and it will submit the credentials, and then it will check the welcome page should be open. Okay, so here we have the welcome page opened. So this is the welcome URL. So here we can map the welcome URL to be the server slash welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, I think we lost Arjit.
Might be a connection issue. Let's wait for a couple of minutes for him to join.
Sorry, guys. Let me check with him what happened. Yeah, he's having some internet issues. He's trying to join back. While he is joining, maybe we can have someone to talk about the experiences. So let's see. Sarika, can you hear us? Sarika?
Yeah, yes, got it.
Okay, so how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, brother?
Okay, all right, all right. So which company are you working right now?
I am working with admin insights.
Insight, is it?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Is anyone here who is looking for a job, or everyone has a job?
I am looking for a job. Louis is looking for a job.
Okay, where are you from, Louis?
Brampton.
Brampton, is it? Okay.
Yes, please.
So what's your background experience?
QA.
QA, is it? Okay. Have you looked at QA consultant? There's a lot of job opportunities for QA and QA consultant.
I'm currently applying and interviewing, so I just thought I'll let you know. Maybe you have something.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people keep reaching out to us, right? So whoever reaches out to us, we put that in our job channel in Microsoft Teams. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
So, Kader, what is QA consultant? Is it a website or like any?
It's a company in
Oh,
based out of Toronto, right?
okay. Oh, just like other recruiting companies, right?
No, no, no. It is actually a company which does QA for its living.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's something that you can look at. Let me check something here. Just a minute. Trying to open here. Hopefully, I think that he's able to connect back. Nevertheless, there is a company called Wish. Let me check. Prefer this. To.
So, Kadir, just for the sake of the audience, I wanted to understand how Job Channel works. So, when you post a job there, do we send our resumes to a test or we send our resumes directly to that company?
Directly to that company, because yeah, directly to that company.
So when we say job channel, it means those companies approach us to post this in Testoper, or we
Some of
do it
them,
proactive. Okay.
approach, right? Some of them, like some of the community members who have, um, in their company, if there is a job opportunity open, they kind of post it there.
Hmm. So
So
so so this the same job. The companies that post with Testoper do. So do they post only in Testoper, or do they post outside as well and just provide us a reference of their job?
they normally post it outside and provide us the reference for the job, because we talk to a few people, right? And the recruiters, they want to kind of post the job in all the different places where they can get good audience, right? So we have
Right.
been talking to a few people, and if they have job, like, so they post it. Like, for example, I'll just copy this link. There was this guy called Michael Swan who reached out to me, and he said, hey, in your community, if there is any good quality engineer is there, right?
So
So
here's my question. Here's my question. So how? So if I'm posting directly to that company, how will they know that it came? This guy came from Testoper, which will provide added weightage to that resume, right?
yeah, it's when they're interviewing, they can actually say, hey, I got to know about this job through the Testoper community. I just posted in one chat, there is one opportunity that I know one of my friend was looking for. I kind of posted that in the chat right now, if you can see. This is for the quality engineering. So there, yeah, it's like we are at this at the what do I say? We are at the starting stage, right? It would take some
Okay.
years to really get there, but right now it's mostly a word of mouth, right? Through the contacts and stuff like that.
All right, makes sense. So, so I would recommend everyone to put Testoper on the resume as well, right? Either attending training through Testoper, or being a volunteer in Testoper. That will add weightage to your resumes uh, whenever you post your resume to any company, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll apply for this job, Kadir.
You'll apply for the job.
Well, I have also a question regarding the projects that we are doing during the meetings. Why there is not a GitHub for that, so we can look after into the projects or codes that we are doing, that the training coaches are doing during the session?
So
It's there.
the GitHub is already there. The
Yeah.
GitHub is already there.
But
So
there is nothing.
last sessions we did post those codes there. For this session, there is no code that Arjit has created. He's basically picking up the code from the library README only, so it's pretty much available there. So there was no point of putting that code into the GitHub repository. But previous sessions, if you look into it, the Tavern project and or Selenium base, the codes are already there. So if you are not aware of it, I'll send you the link to the GitHub repository.
And you can also send your GitHub IDs in the chat. We will add you into the Testoper GitHub community.
Correct.
Right? So it's slowly we are getting there, right? It's years of effort because we are not for profit. See, like for example, for profit companies, when someone is going, they'll pay big money and join for the course and things like that, right? So the traction is immediate. We are non-profit. We are providing everything for free. So the growth is slow, right? It takes time to really get there. So there is another, because we are here. There is another company called. I came to know it's called as Heart and Stroke, right? So let me also post that in our chat link here. They are also looking for quality assurance engineer, right? So I've given a couple of links right now. You can actually look at it. They are also looking for some quality assurance engineers. So these are the two.
On the GitHub, there is this Taran training. What is that? Inside the TA track.
Yeah, so it was an API testing framework, right? So if you go to the YouTube channel, if you have missed it, you can go to the YouTube channel and go through those videos. It was on that the Tavern framework is on API testing. One we did Tavern first, and then we did Selenium base, and now we are doing Robot framework, and the next will be a test project. So these for this year we are going to do these 4 frameworks, and we will then take a survey from everyone based on what you guys would like to learn in going next year forward. So we'll create a roadmap on the training based on those surveys. So for this year, we have selected the frameworks that are pretty much in market trend and industry wide adoption is there, and a lot of companies are looking for these kind of skill sets, right? So these frameworks were really important, specifically based on current market practices and trends.
Okay, so what's going on? This is bad news. This is bad news. You know, most of us here are from India. You know, you can understand the internet connection in India. Let me call him and check what's happening. Can he come back, or is it's going to be an issue? Let me just give me a couple of minutes. I'm going on mute. Let me come back. Okay, it looks like the internet has come back for him, and he'll be joining shortly. That's what he just let me know. So yeah, you know, the in the chat I have put 2 job opportunities that if someone is looking for it, you could probably apply. That I was reached out recently. If some of the people have expertise to share it. So if anyone you know is fitting into that one of those 2 roles, you can actually look at it. So let me also ask here, who is more than let's say 5 years experienced in the team today, in the call today?
I am 5 years of experience. I have.
Paramveer, in the QA, is it?
Yeah, and QA. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
This Vivek here. I have around like 17 years of experience, but it's mostly in development and management.
Development and management, is it?
Yeah.
You are the one who said you're working in TELUS, no?
That's right.
Okay. In TELUS, you are working in the development side of the shop, is it?
Yes. So the reason like why I joined this session is basically we are migrating from a legacy platform to cloud over the period of next 3 years.
Okay.
So all our team members, everyone is they have worked on legacy platform. So this is the first time we are basically getting introduced to OpenShift systems, and then our first step is to move to the CI/CD process.
Okay.
So that's the reason like every one of us are looking to automate things on the legacy system, integrate with the different tools, and then eventually like step by step move to cloud.
Okay, understood. Are you also attending our Sunday session then? That's more relevant also for you, right?
I attended one Kubernetes session earlier, but Sundays usually like I don't get much time.
Okay.
It's
Not Sunday,
Saturday or
Saturday.
Sunday?
Saturday. Apologies. Yeah, Saturday session.
Yeah.
Right
So
now, the AI is ongoing right now. It was a beautiful session we had, and the second session is going to happen this Sunday. So the topic is AI with Python. There's a couple of
okay.
good speakers are delivering that session. So Vivek, if you have 17 years experience, you should also try to plan to deliver some session for us for Testoper community. We are non-profit, so we need people like you to help us to deliver sessions and grow.
Yeah, sure. Like if anyone is interested on learning something about the HP non-stop systems, then yeah, I can.
Yeah,
make
why
some
don't
session.
you actually think about it and let me know what you wanted to do, and then we can figure out the time slot when we can organize that session for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kader, I also wanted to talk about one more thing that I was thinking. So I previously talked about the service that we will float based on your requirements and needs, what you want to learn about. Another thought that I have is that by the end of these sessions, with the last one being test project, we will uh, when we have an after that we'll have one more session where we will go through all the uh, relevant or latest job descriptions and try to figure out what industry is looking for and create a roadmap based on those, right? So we'll all sit together, we'll go through 5 or 10 job descriptions from the top industries, and then we'll figure out what actually these companies are looking for and create a roadmap based on both based on that job description. I think that would really be relevant, and it will put us on a learning path towards specific skill set, right? Which will be a complete skill set and not in parts, right? I think so. My thought is that if we can do that kind of a session, that would really help the community to get understanding of what market is looking for and where are they at this point in time, uh, uh, at the level that they need to reach in order to cater to those job descriptions.
Correct. That's one of the strategy that we are working on right now, to see how we can help our community members to first understand, what kind of a jobs we call it as a career path, right? What kind of a career path one should choose based on their background, and then the next step is based on that chosen career path. We call it as from the strategy point of view, learning path, right? So what they need to really learn to achieve that career path. So these are two things, something that we wanted to address. We're working on that strategy right now to see, how we can make that happen, in 2021. It requires a lot of research, but we are working on it, Sumit.
That
That's a good
sounds
idea.
good. On this Codeathon, we can have a session to just get some idea on how that learning path will look like, right? That would be a good start.
Yeah. We can, once we trim that baseline of our thought process, we can share our thought process to the community members and get some inputs and take it from there on the practical sense. You're right. Arjit, I see you have joined. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, we lost a lot of time. What happened?
Internet connection issue. I just dropped.
Oh shit. Okay, all right. So let's utilize the next 15 minutes. Hopefully, you're not going to get disconnected. Maybe offline, Sumit, let's talk about it to make sure that this does not repeat it in case what needs to be done, right? Um, so we don't repeat this again. Okay. So go ahead, Sumit. Sorry, Arjit. Thanks, guys, for patiently waiting. Appreciate your patience on this regards. So yeah, Nagendra was asking in the chat. Ajit, share your screen. Nagendra was asking that in the chat that the name of the person who is joined through the phone number 437-971-5153. What is the name of the person? Hello. So someone is joined with the number 437-971-5153.
Hey, this is Madan here.
Madan, can you please type your name in the chat, because see, we are recording all the attendance, and we plan to provide certificates for all the programs to everyone before in few weeks, right? So we want to make sure that you're not missed. Can you put your full name and also make sure that
I'm sorry, how do I do that? I got a chance to join the last session as well that happened on Saturday, and I faced a similar issue. And unfortunately, I didn't receive any of your documentation or notes.
Yeah, but how did you log in through the Microsoft Teams?
Yeah, I did it from my mobile.
Yeah, but do you have a login and password for the Microsoft Teams from Testoper? Yeah,
no,
so
I just
you are
downloaded the
in
Teams.
WhatsApp, right? You are in WhatsApp, right?
Yes.
WhatsApp. So can you reach out to us? Maybe it's not today. Can you reach out to us tomorrow morning, and someone from our programs teams can help you to create an account and join it properly into the sessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I just joined it from a personal Microsoft Teams.
yeah, but still your name should come, not phone number, right? But let's create an account for you in the Microsoft Teams for the Testoper community. So next time you can log in through that, so you won't have this problem. So let's give at least let's 10 to 15 minutes. Let's give floor to Arjit. Arjit, please go ahead.
Okay. So now we have the resource file. So in the resource file, as I've already mentioned, we have all the keywords, and these are the keywords that we're going to use in our test cases here. So okay, I'll just execute this one. So in order to run, like last day, what we did was we had robot and the space, the test case name, I mean the robot file name. So if it is test file, so then we were writing robot space test.robot, and we were executing the file. Here in this IDE, so we have everything here, and we don't need to type in commands in the terminal as such. So you can just select, these are the different robot files initially. So I'll just explain the structure of the RIDE. So these are the robot files here. We can name the robot files as per the scenarios that we are executing. So this is the test robot file that we had, and inside the test robot file we had multiple test cases. So these are the test cases. So if it's a valid login or an invalid login, so those are the test cases that we can mention here. So how we can write the test case is, you can just click new test case and you can write an invalid login. So this becomes a test case for us. So inside the test case we can write the test steps. So here the test steps correspond to one keyword of Selenium essentially, or any other library that we are using. Or maybe what we can do is we can write a keyword in our resource file, and we can use that keyword in our test case. So this is how we write the test cases in robot. So what happens here is the first cell in the robot IDE shows us, we use the name of the keyword or the library keyword that we are using. So if we have something like input username, we write input username here. So this gives us the name of the keyword, and after we give the name of the keyword, we pass in the variable to this keyword. So let's say if we have a username field, we can just give the username field like here. Okay, I'll just show that. I won't type it and waste time. Yeah. So this is the username field, and we can just give the username as such here. So this is how we create a test case, a test scenario, and the test steps in a robot file. So if we need to execute this, we can just click on this run tab and choose the run profile. So these are the different bots or the robot bot that we have for Java, for Python, and this is the robot bot itself. So as I told last week, that if we are using Python version greater than 2.7, we can use a robot. For the execution profile, if we using Python 2.7 less than that, we can use the PyBot profile. So here we are using the robot profile, and we can just click on start. So what we need to do is we need to choose the test cases that we need to execute. So it is always like if you can just choose here, or you can just choose multiple as such, doesn't matter. So it will just execute sequentially. Just save this for execution. Okay, so you can click on run, and when we click on run, the execution starts. Okay, so here what happens is it gives us a status. So if it's a fail, it marks with red. If it's a pass, it marks with green. Okay, so basically the execution has been done. It robot framework gives us three execution files. So post execution, we get an output file, we get a log file, and we get a report file. So this is by default stored in this location. So we can execute and we can give the particular location for our for our output and log files. For now, what we can do is, if that is not a requirement, we can just use the default locations. And the best part here is you don't need to go into this location and open the log file or the report file. You can just click on the report and log buttons here, and it will open in a default browser. So here is the log file, sorry, the report file, and you can click on log here on the right hand side, and it changes to log HTML. So this toggle has been given by robot framework itself. So this failure scenario where we can mention the login tests. Okay, so these are the steps that has been done, and there's one input username field which did not execute. Okay, remove that. you. Okay, so okay, now let's go. Okay, so we can see this, and during execution, what we see is we see a let's say I go back. It's a background. The report file is all red. We can just change. We can just put in some arguments. Let me copy the argument from here. So this is the arguments that we're giving for execution. So minus d is the tag, and here what we do is we write a timestamp for the execution profiles, the output files, and what we're doing is we are changing the report background to white. So this is actually a syntax for robot framework. So these arguments are not for the test cases. The the test cases don't have anything to do with this arguments. This is essentially a run execution argument. The argument changes the execution profile. So if we execute this now, so you can see the test is passed, and the best part is, so we have a white background as we've already given the report background as white. So these are the special scenarios that we have with robot framework. Okay. Now the next part is the method names. So I have already mentioned that we have keywords in the in a file. So we have mentioned that as a resource robot file, and we have all the keywords here. The other way to write a keyword is to create a Python file. We can write a Python file in an IDE, like in PyCharm. We can write a Python file, and what we can do is we can create a method name. So basically, this this may be a method name for our Python file. What we can do is we can import the Python file as a library to our robot file, and we can use the method name instead of the keywords mentioning directly in the robot framework. We can mention the keywords in the Python file, and we can import them. So the what happens is we can use the code of Python, some extra libraries of Python which are not essentially available for robot framework. So if we need something more than robot framework, so robot framework gives us quite few libraries, but if we are doing something that is not supported by robot framework but can be done with Python, we can do that too. So what we can do is, okay, I'll just create a Python file here. We can give it maybe test.py.
Arjit, your screen is stuck. Are you still there? Oh shit. I think we lost him again. Can you guys hear him or is it just me?
No, I cannot hear.
Okay, okay. We need to find a solution. Maybe we should ask him to record his session and play it and be there to answer the questions, right? So I think that's what we need to do in our next session. So I'll, it's already, we are towards the end of the session. Apologies for misorganizing this session very badly. Thank you for your patience, by the way. So next session, what we will do is we will make sure that he records it and we displays recording and have him online to make sure things are going okay. So that's what we would do. And apologies anyways. So Vivek and others, whoever are experienced and who wants to really help the Stoper community as a volunteer, please reach out to me. Send your email to me at testoper@testoper.com. I would be happy to talk to you guys to see how you can contribute in the growth of Testoper community as a volunteer, and would be happy to have you to help us. So whoever is interested in the call, please do send an email, testoper@testoper.com. So for today, we will close the session and I'll make sure that next session onwards, this does not happen. All right. You guys have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Arjit. Thanks, Kadir.